Hello, this recording is the second in a series of 3 episodes which collectively provide information on the educational requirements for the audit qualification. The focus of the video series is on the practical training requirements. This video series is aimed at all trainees who are in a training contract in practice in an institute recognised training firm. The series will provide valuable information, particularly for those who wish to work as a statutory auditor in the future. It is important to note that the content in this video series is confined to the audit qualification requirements. This does not in any way impact on your qualification as an associate chartered accountant and solely relates to the educational requirements for the separate post-membership award of the audit qualification. In this episode, we will provide you with information on how to optimize your CA diary for the purpose of this qualification. We will also signpost you to some key resource documents and explain some do's and don'ts around recording audit experience. For the purposes of this video, the terms AQ, audit qualification, or audit qualification requirements may be used when referring to the educational requirements for the audit qualification. Throughout the training period, and depending on the nature of your role, you're required to accurately document any obtained audit competencies and, where appropriate, audit days in the statutory audit or other audit days sections. This information is captured on the Create a New Diary Entry screen. We will shortly take a look at some of the fields that you need to be aware of. It is easy for you to monitor your progress against the experiential aspect of the AQ requirements on the CA diary. This is via the Regulated Experience in a Practice Environment section on your CA diary dashboard. Based on locked entries, the number of recorded days is rounded to weeks and shows as a cumulative figure under the specific headers. In the case of ROI, the only relevant figure here will be under Statutory Audit ROI. You will also see the audit days that have been recorded in individual entries by accessing the PDF CA Diary Report, and to do that, click the Generate CA Diary Report option on your dashboard. In late 2021, additional features were added to the CA Diary functionality. This should help you to provide specific and relevant information on audit or assurance engagements or on audit training. When you select the Create a New Diary Entry option from your dashboard, you will reach a section where you have to state yes or no to the question, during this period, were you engaged in any audit or assurance work, including audit training? It is strongly advised that you take care to record your audit experience accurately. This can avoid any unnecessary delays when the time comes to apply for the AQ. Under the Audit Diary Entry section, the inputs are recorded via 3 separate drop-down menu options, and these are Sector, Turnover, and Job Title. Care and attention should be taken with these inputs, and especially in the range of audit experience section, as this can provide the opportunity to record statutory audit or other audit days. You will note the information icon on the screen, and it is important to access this as it provides important information and direct access to the guidance on recording audit experience documents for each jurisdiction. Do select the hyperlink to access the document that is relevant to you and the type of experience being recorded. If you select a minimum of 1 category from Statutory Audit ROI, Other Audit ROI, Statutory Audit NI UK, or Other Audit NI UK, you will then have access to the corresponding fields which allow input of the relevant number of days. Do be aware that you cannot input any days in any of the categories if your selection is Assurance Engagement Training. If you are inputting audit days in any category, ensure that you record whole days and that is no decimal points permitted. There is also a non-mandatory field which allows input of client engagement numbers. Only use this if directed to do so by your firm. If you're recording audit experience in your diary entry, you need to select a minimum of one competency element from either the Auditing Competency element or the Auditing Other Competency element drop-down fields. If you have input audit days in either of the four categories, then select the corresponding audit competency category. If you have selected the Assurance Engagement Training option, you cannot claim any audit days. You can select the applicable competencies from either the Auditing Competency element or the Auditing Other Competency elements. Do remember that for audit diary entries, a minimum of one element needs to be input from the non-audit competencies section, in addition to populating all the other mandatory fields.
Now we'll take a look at some key considerations when recording your audit experience. If you are gaining experience in audit, it is very important that you accurately and completely record your audit experience engagements in the CA diary. As mentioned earlier, this is of key importance for trainees who wish to meet the requirements for the audit qualification, as this information may be used in the future for the purpose of determining whether you have met the practical training aspect of those requirements. We cannot overemphasize the need for accuracy and completeness. Firstly, ensure that you categorize your audit experience correctly in CA diary as Statutory Audit ROI, Other Audit ROI, Statutory Audit NI UK, or Other Audit NI UK. Key points to remember are that audit experience being recorded as Statutory Audit ROI must meet the definition of statutory audit in the Companies Act 2014. Audit experience being recorded as Statutory Audit NI UK must meet the definition of statutory audit work for the purposes of practical training for recognition of a professional qualification in the Companies Act 2006. And any audit work being recorded as Other Audit NI UK must relate to work regarded as other audit work similar to statutory audit work. The Institute's two documents, Guidance on Recording Audit Experience Republic of Ireland and Guidance on Recording Audit Experience Northern Ireland, which were produced to assist trainees in recording their audit experience, must be referred to before recording any audit work. As mentioned earlier, these two documents are hyperlinked in CA Diary. We will discuss this guidance in a little more detail in the next video in this series. Secondly, as with all experience gained, trainees must provide a clear, appropriate and relatable description against each competency element that has been selected in CA Diary to demonstrate attainment of the competencies at the proficiency level. The Institute's Professional Development Requirements CA Diary document and Sample CA Diary Entries Guide for Trainees provide information and guidance to trainees on how to approach the recording of relevant work experience in the CA Diary and will help you in this regard. Thirdly, when recording your audit experience, please also ensure that there is sufficient information in the diary entry to determine that the work undertaken was statutory audit or other audit work as appropriate. This will include a description of the nature of the work undertaken and also some key pieces of information such as the type of entity audited, where it was incorporated, and what is the audit framework. With regard to the type of entity audited and where it was incorporated, typically the information required is, for example, if the entity was a company, to specify that it was a company and where it was incorporated. For example, a private company limited by shares incorporated in the Republic of Ireland, or a private company limited by shares incorporated in Northern Ireland. If the entity was a fund, please specify the type of fund and where it was incorporated. For example, a UCITS fund incorporated in the Republic of Ireland and regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland. If the entity was an SPV, please state the type of SPV and where it was incorporated, and so on. In relation to the audit framework, typically what is needed is the legislation under which the audit was conducted. So, for example, the Companies Act 2006 in the UK or the Companies Act 2014 in the Republic of Ireland. And also the auditing standards applied. For example, the International Standards on Auditing Ireland, the ISAs Ireland, or the International Standards on Auditing UK, the ISAs UK.
We would like to finish by reminding you again of the guidance we have produced that will help you with recording your audit experience. These include Guide to Recording Audit Days CA Diary, Guidance on Recording Audit Experience ROI, Guidance on Recording Audit Experience NI, and sample CA Diary entries for trainees. These and other helpful resources are available on the CA Diary Resources page on the Institute website. That concludes this recording, which should have increased your awareness and understanding of how to optimize your CA Diary for AQ purposes. Thank you.